Okay, I chose this background for a very good reason right now. We need to talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the lobby dodging penalties that were added in, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and Predator Hunting Grounds and its rework. First things out of the way. The lobby dodging penalties in TCM. Will they help in the intended way? No, but I hope so. But I hope it actually does. And the reason why I say this is because the reality of it is people will take from dodging in lobbies to dodging in match. TCM needs a complete rework of its systems in almost every way. And I'm going to tell people this right here. Is it just like, oh, people are being this or no? These people are being the dictionary definition of the word entitled. They want a character, they want a map, they want a specific map, they want to keep their kill-death ratio or their escape ratio or whatever to a high number. I watched a streamer who was doing that. It's the reason why I stopped watching him. It is the dictionary definition of the word entitlement. It is a problem, one of the main problems, and that TCM is facing down right now. Other than the bugs, glitches, and everything else going on, which there is a fair decent bit. Reality of the stating is, I don't know how you fix this problem. This is on Gun and Black Tower now. They have to get their heads out of their butts and start understanding, like, hey, we have to figure something out. Because I will say this. If you look at how TCM is and how TCM is set up, and because I heard some YouTuber talking about this earlier, like, oh, well, they can't pick their multiple characters. It's like, yes, you don't want multiple Lelands, Dannys, Annas, or whatever character in the game. You don't want multiple Connies in the game. It's like, if you think TCM is already broken, you want to see TCM really die quickly, or you want to see, because here's the two ways it's going to fix it, or it's going to kill it. It's going to be overpowered for the victim side, and family sides are going to get tired and leave. Or they're going to have to nerf the victim so down into the dirt to where the victim players are going to get pissed off, and they're going to leave the game. Because people always tend to forget this. Always tend to forget and not understand this when it comes to these ASM games. It's like, it's okay. Say if you're just a victim side player, and you want to have, say, like 4 Connies or Lelands or Dannys or whatever. Okay, but you know what? Would that be fun for the family side? And if you're one of the players who sits there and says, I don't care, then you are a problem within this said game. Because you're the type of player who is only caring about your fun versus somebody else's fun. You are the type of player who is honestly saying, like, hey, look, I don't want anybody else having fun but me. It's me versus them. It's a me mentality. And it's like, you know what? I'll say this. I hope you get your me mentality. I do. I really do, because as soon as you do, you'll start seeing the family side on TCM into the ground. Because you always seem to forget. People on Predator Hunting Grounds forgot this. And look what happened to that. Predator matches went from like waiting 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes for a round to literally 2 minutes, 3, 4. Why? Because nobody wanted to play the Predator anymore. Why? Because the fire team was OP as all living shit. They would pitbull you the entire round. They see you once and be on you the entire freaking round. You couldn't even freaking barely get a plasma caster shot off on them without getting riddled full of fucking bullets. This is a problem that I've always seen with these ASM games, is people have to start understanding. Like, I get you want to have fun. I get you want to have a good time. I get you want to be this overpowered god. But say like in TCM, if they were to do that, more so than it already is, because I'm sorry, I watch videos on YouTube of this shit, multiple different content creators, and I'm sorry, the victims are OP. They are. The victims are very OP and very one-sided. Because it's not hard for them to escape, and it's not hard for them to troll the freaking family, either with the rushing meta, the meta where they freaking loop the freaking killers, or with just freaking stunning them, bullying them, and grappling them. It's not hard. And mind you, this was something that people in the beta were knowing was going to be a problem since the beta. They tried telling Gun. They tried sitting there warning them about like, hey, desync is going to be an issue. What did Gun do? We don't care. We don't care. We don't freaking want to hear it. Hell, if you go back to a channel called Slash and Cast, maybe from 4 or 5 months ago, they talked about the back cube bug. And you know what they got from Elphonic, our Gun Media? Oh, there's not an issue with our backfill. This is the issue that I have with Gun. But I'm going to try to explain this in this way. Imagine with Friday 13th the game. They never added in the dedicated servers. They never added in anything to that nature. And imagine if they never added in the host migration. But also now imagine if, say, Bugsy, Vanessa, and all the counselors were like the counselors in TCM, and said they all had, like, specific skills. Like, say, if Deborah had a tamper mechanic like Danny, or Vanessa and Bugsy had a toughness mechanic like Anna, or a speed mechanic even. But they kept the same thing in the game where you could pick multiple of them. Imagine how overpowered the counselors would have been, even more so in Friday 13th than they already are. And that's the problem that it is with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Is you want multiple characters. You want multiple Lelands, Dannys, Annas, Connies. Like I said earlier, it will break the game even more so than it already is, and it will cause TCM to die. That's just the reality of the situation. So let's stop with that. Yes, Gun needs to figure out how to freaking get this game balanced better and get things figured out. Yes, but you also have to understand too, there's reasons why these things are put into place to kind of keep the game at least semi-balanced to the point where it's not a fucking shit show like Predator or other games. So, you know what? That's TCM out of the window. Done. The next is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I'm only adding this here because of the worries I've seen from people. And, you know, from what I've heard from people, you know, about the bots, the preference system, and not seeing any actual final field test footage gameplay. Yes, there is a reason to be concerned. Because it was the same thing I said with TCM when we only saw beta footage from people who actually played the beta, but we never saw no finalized gameplay footage. There are reasons to be concerned. I mean, it's that. Also the content. How much content are we going to get? How many, things are we going to see in the game? Are we going to see maps, modes? Are we going to see what we saw with Ghostbusters: The Spirit Unleashed? Are we going to see actual content? The game getting better instead of like Predator Hunting Grounds getting worse. And don't you worry, Predator, I'm coming for you in a bit. But, and see, here's the reason why I say this about Killer Clowns. It's a very niched movie. Not movie and comics or whatever. No, movie. One. So how much content can they put in there based off of one movie, unless they keep with the Kyoto brothers in, which, love you guys, and actually can get very creative with it and figure out ways to put more content into the game to keep the game alive. Now, and this is also kind of the reason why I would tell Gun and Elphonics, if any of you hear this, stop showing alpha, beta footage. Start showing finalized gameplay. You like the footage you showed. Well, it looks all right. You cannot sit there and expect people to be like, "Oh, this looks great," when they don't even know what's coming in the finalized build. We don't know. The weapons could be freaking less OP. They could be even more OP for the victims. We don't know. All we can do is go off the track record you have. And I'm telling people, it's like if you look at, say, Predator, that game is human-sided versus Predator-sided 100%. And that's what freaking caused that game to go down as bad as it did on PlayStation. So, yeah. I'm not really trying to hate on Killer Clowns as much. I'm just saying, like, they did a great job with Ghostbusters. They just got to kind of keep the track record going. I just don't trust them. Now on to Predator Hunting Grounds. And it coming to Xbox. A couple of things I can say about this, and a couple of problems that I foresee, is one, content. They're saying that we're only getting predators in the spring or summer, and predators in the winter. Who the fuck cares, Ilphonic? You know what people want to see in the game? Modes, maps, etc. New weapons for the predators. Hell, even new weapons for the fire team. We want a good balance between the fire team and the predator, because that's what originally hurt your game. And we want a better rework of the game, its mechanics, and also its horrible AI companions. Because at least I say with Ghostbusters, you're not stuck with them the entire game. If, say, another person comes into the game, the AI thing is just filled and they're out. In Predator, you're stuck with them, and they can be very 50-50. Sometimes they're great. Other times they're ass. I mean, and they're ass in Ghostbusters too. But we need more for this game than what we are getting. That is a sad fucking reality. And the reality that I actually see is going to happen with Predator Hunting Grounds when it comes to Xbox is this. We're going to see if it's PC, PlayStation 5, and 4 with crossplay for Xbox. You know what's going to happen? You're going to see Fireteam people from PlayStation and Xbox, or PlayStation and PC, go against people on Xbox, and they're going to run them up, just like they did the PlayStation players when the game was free for PlayStation Plus. It was a game to them. They didn't want new players in the game. They wanted to run them up because they saw them as peasants in the game. So, yeah. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I feel like that game is only going to have a lifespan on Xbox when they turn off crossplay and play with people on Xbox. But then, even with Xbox players, how long is it going to be till they figure out what's broken and OP in the game? Most like for the fire side, or fire team side, and they're just going to turn around and start abusing that too and ruin their own game. Like, these are the worries that people have. And they are legitimate worries. They are legitimate concerns. Like I stated earlier, this is the reason why you see the fire in the background, because this is the place that ASIM games are at. Other than, say, Dead by Daylight. Is the only one that's not just on the ground, burning as a husk of his former self. Maybe or Dead by Daylight is a Ghostbusters: The Spirit Unleashed. There's only two that are thriving right now. TCM's, the numbers on PC keep going down. The player base problem is an issue. You keep just seeing further issues upon issues upon issues with these games, and it's just like, well... Now, I will give the community's credit where credit is due. They do seem to be getting better with giving Ilphonic and Gun Media the business, which, hey, great on you. But we need to do more. We always need to remember, be peaceful about it, no threats, no harassment, no nothing to that nature. But you do need to speak your voice and your mind on it. Because you know what? Enough is enough. Speak with your mind, your mouth, and your wallet. Okay, I'm not too sure how long this ending part's going to be, but I'm still going to put it on here. You know, I want people to understand this. Even though I put this in the background, what I have put, and everything to this nature, I love these games. I do. I love the franchises they're made off of, like Friday, Killer Clowns, Evil Dead, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Ghostbusters. I love them. I do. It's like, but you know the one thing I don't love, and the one thing that I don't like in them, is when these situations are always, it seems to be, these ASM games are always doomed to repeat the same thing just over and over and over and over and over again. Friday had these issues. Okay. Predator Hunting Grounds came out. It came out in a pretty decent way. The more they updated it, the more it broke. The more greedy they got, the less content we started getting. And it just seemed like a Friday 13th all over again. Evil Dead came out, died within a year. Ghostbusters came out. The only reason why Ghostbusters got saved was because they released the Echo 1 edition. And they gave everybody everything for free in the game. And they did a lot of work on it. It's the only reason why that game got saved. TCM right now is going to need the exact same way. They're going to have to rework everything. And I do literally mean everything. And people are going to have to come to the understanding of the game is made the way it is for a reason. And I'm not saying there's no bugs or glitches or anything else in the game. And I'm not saying that just a couple are bad. No. It's like when the game was like Friday, or how Predator got, or how Ghostbusters started, when it's almost every single round, there's something going wrong. There's something bugging out. You're getting trapped in a wall. You see people up on the roofs. People with infinite pocket knives. People hacking and modding. Got a video up on my channel about Friday the 13th with that. Check it out. If you don't believe me. Because I have footage of a PS5 player doing it. But, still, is it one of these type of things to where it's just like, they all seem to have this problem. And I love these franchises. I'm a fan of them, yes. Like, Save Killer Clowns does really well. And the Kyoto brothers get with either, say, Elphonic or another studio, and they make a Critters game for an ASIM. Dude, I'd be as happy as all of this shit. Or if a Gremlins game was made as an ASIM. It'd make me happier than all get out. It's like, but if it's made by Gunn or Elphonic, I'm going to hold my reservations about it. Because Gunn and Elphonics has done this to their own reputation when what happened with Friday happened. Now, the lawsuit was not their fault. But, and like this is what I always try to tell people, what is their fault is the fact that, no, they could not put content into the game. But regardless of what people try to say over the internet, they could fix Friday the 13th. They just chose not to. Or chose to do it at a very slow pace to kind of keep the lifeline going enough not to kill it until they had to kill it. You know, which is coming up at the end of this year. It's like these ASM games have to start being better or the ASM graveyard is just going to keep getting filled up. And sad reality of it being is studios are not going to want to get into the ASM market. There's money to be had. People love these games. But we need to start having more successes than failures. And there's a lot to make a game a success versus a failure. And that's also part on them, but also partly on the community too. Like, this is something that as a community, we have to start understanding. Kind of like what I said with Predator earlier. Like, when it came out free for PlayStation Plus, they had a surplus of new people coming into the game. Where they're like, oh man, the game's gonna get new players. We're gonna at least have some new people in it. No, all they saw was fresh meat. Attack. Go after them. Because we're better than them. That is a mindset within this ASIM community that has to start changing. And I do blame tournament players for that. I do blame this whole trying to make ASIM games to be the new esport, or trying to get it included in the esports. For one, it's not going to. And for two, you people hurt these communities more so than you help. Look what happened with Predator. And I guarantee you, I'm right with it. It comes to Xbox, if PlayStation 4 and PC players are able to, like, well, they will be able to, crossplay with the new generations. Oh, dude, I'm telling you right fucking now. Unless they turn off crossplay, that game is dead. People won't stick around for the new Predators because look what happened on PlayStation. That's why I said it was just as stupid that they decided to bring this game out now versus when the game actually had players. But it really is to this frickin' fact of everybody within the ASIM communities need to start doing better. The developers, the YouTubers, the communities just as a whole. Like, people need to start doing what needs to be done. YouTubers need to stop being so disingenuous with their information and need to start being more truthful about what they're saying. And need to start giving these games a business if they need to get the business. If they need to get the business end of somebody's freaking, backhand, if they need to get pimp slapped a little bit around, let them have it. I've always told people, like, hey, be respectful about it, but speak your mind. Speak with your mouth. Vote with your wallet. This is why, like, I've told people, will I be pre-ordering Killer Clowns from Outer Space? No. Fuck you. I will not be pre-ordering that game. Not after Ilphonics and their history. Yes, they did great with Ghostbusters, but I don't know if they're going to do great with Killer Clowns. Well, we've reached the end. Comment section down below. Remember, all of this is said with love. I'm not trying to be hateful or rude or mean or anything of that nature. Out.